Hi, Forked Hope. We are so honored to be here today to speak with you at the celebration of the 2023 graduation. This community, and specifically this group of students, are particularly important to both Morgan and I. We could not be more proud and excited for all of you who are sitting on the stage today. You made it! Morgan, take it away.
Okay, so there's a few dates throughout my life that I remember vividly, and December 5th, 2012 is one of them. That was our first day in Forked Hope, and I remember getting off the plane. The principal at the time was Lee Wood. You guys probably all remember him, and he, we were exhausted, overwhelmed, but he decided to take us to the school, and he took us into the school, and I went by my class, and I would say it was a very, very lively bunch. Maybe the most lively crew I ever had. And the students that you see up on the stage right now were in grade 2 at the time. And I had them actually for 3 years, for their grade 2, 3, and 4 years. Obviously over that time we were able to develop some very special relationships that have been able to stand the test of time. So I really want to tell a funny story and a good story. I mean, they're all good, but really want to tell a funny story and a good story about all the students up on stage. We saw the students a couple weeks back in Toronto. That was a really special moment. And I told them I wasn't going to do this, but I think they'll all get some laughs from it. Maybe. We'll see. So anyway, I'll start off with Joy. Joy, actually, I think Joy probably appreciated us moving away, because Joy had to walk by our house every single day in the morning to get to school and at lunch and everything. And my dog would always bark at her. Anybody who went by my house probably heard my dog, and she might have appreciated that. But one of the nice things was a lot of times I got to walk with Joy to and home from lunch, and she was just always super kind, really nice to teachers, always asked you how your day was, and was really good with the younger students. Marcus, the funny story I have about you, and I don't know if you remember this, but I put on the movie Where the Wild Things Are, and it finished. I think we might have watched it over, a couple Fridays, and it finished, and I go to shut it off, and I look over and I see Marcus, and Marcus is just bawling, tears streaming down his face. The ending is sad, but I definitely didn't expect that, and I think I had to go and explain to your mom that it was just the ending of a movie and nothing too tragic happened in class. But I do remember Marcus being an incredibly creative person, both artistically and writing. And, again, when we saw him a couple weeks ago, you could definitely see that flair in the clothing he was wearing. So I hope you continue with that, Marcus. Marilyn, I got a funny story about her as well, and we kind of joked about this a few weeks ago. But there are a few students who had troubles pronouncing their name, and Marilyn really did not like it. But it was, it was all in good fun. We joked about it now. The one thing I do remember about Marilyn is she always had a great sense of humor. Mainly, I thought she did because she laughed at all my jokes, she was always also very mature for her age. That really stood out to me. Gwen, another funny story about Gwen was one day I had a vacation up on my computer, and Gwen came by and she just caught it. And then every single day after that, Gwen came by and she wanted to see the pictures with the coconuts. And then so I always had to have that tab open to show her like the vacation with the palm trees and the coconuts and all that stuff. And so we got a good laugh out of that as well. But for Gwen, I do remember Gwen just being always so kind and happy at school. There was one time where I told Gwen to hurry up and get out for recess, and Miss D might remember this because she could hear it across the hallway, and Gwen did not like me rushing her out for recess. But Tessa, we got a really funny joke with Tessa. It won't have the same effect if I tell it on here, but everybody who's up on stage and probably a lot of the other students know it. And let me just say, it's to me, it's still as funny today as it was back when it happened. Tessa, the one thing I really admired about Tessa is she's incredibly strong-willed and always marched to the beat of her own drum. Mason, the Moose, Mace Moose. I got a really funny story about Mason. When he was in grade 3, the following year, from when it came up, we were playing dodgeball. Mason was really unhappy about getting out of the game. And I think in a moment of spontaneous anger and emotion, Mason came over and shoved me. And we were both in shock. And I mean, Mason's a big boy. And we just kind of laughed that off. Because I know he didn't mean anything by it. If anybody knows Mason, he's...
Oh, I thought you were going to say if anyone knows Sports Rage.
Yeah.
It's you.
All right, yeah. But Mason is one of the sweetest kids around. So, Mason also every single day asked if he could have my Kobe's. And I told him that when he could fit into them, he could have them. Eventually, Mason did fit into them, and I think Mason's feet are bigger than mine now. But I do think I left that pair of Kobe's for Mason at the school. One thing about Mason is, and I'm sure everybody knows, Mason holds the record for most points in a basketball game in the Northwest Territories with 68. Mason's one of my favorite players that I ever coached. I really loved his game, and Mason would do whatever you asked of him on the floor. Played with a lot of energy, and again, was one of the favorite players that I ever coached. So I'll end my part here. I think maybe I'll jump in on Miss D's, but I want to congratulate you all on graduating. Don't discount this accomplishment at all. Years down the road, it may seem trivial, but this is an important stepping stone for your future. You all have greatness in you, and the world more now than ever needs great people. So I want you guys to be the leaders that I know you can, and share that greatness with your community, wherever you end up, and the people around you.
Okay, so graduates, I want you to remember the feeling you have right now, sitting on the stage in front of your friends, your family, and community. Think about the feelings of accomplishment and pride and success that you have right now, and how amazing it feels to be where you are today. Now I want you to think back over the years of all the tiny, positive, everyday little decisions that you made for the last few years that led you here. They may not have seemed like a big deal at the time, and on their own they might not have mattered much. But over time, each of those little decisions, either good or bad, began to add up, and it either led you towards success or away from it. And as you know by now, it's really easy to set big goals and make grand plans. People do it every day, all the time. But life will not make it easy. It will challenge you. It will throw obstacles your way. And that's when these tiny little choices that we have every day become so important. The moments when nobody is watching, or maybe you feel like no one is even on your side. And it is especially built in the moments when everything is telling you to give up, but for whatever reason, you chose to continue on. Maybe you experienced a loss in your life and you had to work extra hard to stay in school and focus. Or maybe it was just choosing to get up and come to school when you were super tired and everyone else in your house was sleeping. Or maybe it was choosing to stay sober and keep a clear head on your shoulders when it seemed like everybody else was just out having fun. Those moments when you chose the hard path over the easy path, they were not glamorous or memorable, and no one was there to applaud you like they are today. But I hope you know that all those little moments are why you are here today graduating. And now, as you set off to post-secondary school or into the workforce, there's going to be many more times where you will be called to make these same sacrifices and good choices in those tiny little everyday moments when no one is watching. And in those moments, instead of giving up, I want you to remember the feeling you have right now on the stage and how good it feels to accomplish something this big. And I want you to know that all of your hard work will be so worth it. So just stick with it. You clearly have it within yourselves, and I cannot wait to see what you're going to do next. So congratulations to all of you, the class of 2023. You're going to do amazing things, and we couldn't be more excited for you, and we wish we were there.